coal, natural gas, petroleum, nuclear. Together, these sources make up around 80% of global energy consumption. Energy is the ability to do work, whether that's to push a block, rotate a shaft, turn on a light. You get the idea. One way we convert energy into useful work is through processes known as thermodynamic cycles. In the Otto cycle, a mixture of air and fuel enters the cylinder where it's compressed by the piston. A spark plug ignites the compressed mixture, pushing the piston down, which rotates the crankshaft commonly used to power a vehicle. The exhaust clears out and we're back where we started. The diesel cycle is pretty much the same, but compression heats the air enough to ignite the fuel on its own. Following a similar process, we have the Brayton cycle, where air is compressed to a high pressure, then fuel is added and ignited in a combustion chamber. The resulting hot gases expand through a turbine, spinning a shaft that powers the compressor. In jet engines, the cycle is designed to maximize high-velocity exhaust gases used for thrust, while in power plants, the turbine shaft also drives a generator to produce electricity. The Rankine cycle heats water in a boiler to produce high-pressure steam, which expands through a turbine, generating electricity. The low-pressure steam at the turbine outlet is condensed with the help of a cooling tower, so it can be pumped back to a high pressure, ready for another round in the boiler. As is, none of these are really that efficient, so we found ways to make them better. An important one for electricity generation is what's called a combined cycle that uses the hot outlet gas from the Brayton cycle to boil water in the secondary Rankine cycle. You'll have to learn about the other improvements on my website because it's time to analyze the fuel sources. Coal forms over millions of years from the remains of ancient plants. Loads of heat and pressure drive out the moisture, leaving behind concentrated carbon of varying quality. Coal is usually pulverized and burned for industrial heating or in the furnace of a Rankine cycle, but can also be gasified for combustion in a combined cycle. Its ease of storage, low cost, and relative abundance have made it a popular choice. However, its use comes with significant environmental challenges. Coal combustion produces emissions like sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxides, and particulate matter, which have reduction methods that are widespread but not entirely effective. And while carbon capture and storage can significantly cut CO2 emissions, the process is energy intensive, expensive, and produces toxic spent solvents, so it's rarely implemented. Natural gas and petroleum are hydrocarbons formed over millions of years through heat and pressure, similar to coal, but stem from ancient marine organisms like plankton and algae. Natural gas is pretty much just methane with trace amounts of other molecules, whereas petroleum, also known as crude oil, is a liquid mixture ranging from pentane to heavier hydrocarbons. Liquefied petroleum gases propane and butane fall somewhere in between, existing as gases at ambient temperature but easily liquefied under pressure. Natural gas is extracted through drilling and fracking, then processed to remove impurities before being transported through pipelines. It's used for electricity generation in simple gas turbines or combined cycle plants and serves as a reliable source of heat for industrial, commercial, and residential applications. Natural gas generators are highly efficient and are quick to start up and shut down, allowing them to easily support peak loads. It's also a cleaner burn than coal, releasing about half the CO2 and nitrogen oxides. Still, methane leaks during extraction, transport, and processing add to its greenhouse gas footprint. Petroleum, after fracking or drilling and lifting, is refined using something called fractional distillation, where the oil is heated and separated into its components based on their boiling points. These fractions are then further treated and processed into different products like gasoline, kerosene, diesel, and lubricants. Petroleum is portable and energy dense, making it perfect for transportation, which of course comes at a price. Advances like catalytic converters help to reduce its emissions, but waste from the refining process and oil spills are still problematic. Nuclear relies on a process called fission, where a heavy fissile atom absorbs a free neutron, becomes unstable, and splits into two smaller atoms, releasing a lot of energy and other neutrons that perpetuate the chain reaction. The heat is used to generate electricity through the Rankine cycle. In some reactors, water flows directly through the core to absorb heat, while in others, pressurized water transfers the heat to a secondary loop. Uranium-235 is the most commonly used fissile material, but there's not a lot of it in natural uranium, so it needs to be enriched to between 3 and 5%. Nuclear produces no direct emissions and can run pretty much non-stop, making it great for baseload power. Though, while not a lot of it is produced, spent nuclear fuel is radioactive for a long time. Once removed from the reactor, it's stored in a pool for at least 5 to 10 years before being moved to dry cask storage, or in some countries, sent for recycling, then to deep geological repositories. High upfront costs, long construction timelines, and very rare but high-impact accidents also skew public perception. Despite their differences, these fuels play a big role in meeting the ever-increasing global energy demand. Each comes with economic, environmental, and practical trade-offs that require careful consideration, not just for our needs, but for the world we leave behind. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to learn more about conventional energy, I highly recommend my companion podcast or article. You can find them both at my website, and that's all I've got. See ya.